Hey guys, what's up? Ryan here, aka That Hustle Dad. Hope everyone's doing well. Today I'm excited to tell you that we are in the flooring phase of our house build, and I figured I could make a video showing you guys how I lay the floor, some of the tools that I use in the process, and hopefully that it helps you if you're going to do flooring yourself. But before that, I would like to give a special shout out to a buddy of mine. His name is Taden Hunt. He's a special young man. Love that dude. Taden, hope you see this, and I'll see you soon. So, back to the video. I'm gonna go over some tools that I use. First and foremost, I'm a little older, the knees are a little older. Get yourself a good set of knee pads. These are some gel knee pads. I've had them for a couple of years. They've held up well. If you're doing any kind of flooring and you're gonna be on your knees for a period of time, I highly recommend getting you a good set of knee pads. Second, rubber mallet. You gotta have your rubber mallet. This is a 16 ounce. I normally have 2 of them laying around. That way, when I forget one, I don't have to run across the room and get the other one. So I normally work with 2, and that works out well for me. Tap lock. Make sure you have a tap lock. If you're dealing with like LVP flooring and it's tongue and groove, tongue and groove, you wanna make sure that they're locked in well. So make sure you got your good tap lock. Get you a heavy duty pry bar. They've got some smaller ones out there. They're cheaper and they're probably 2/3 the size. They don't hold up well, so I would recommend getting you the larger pry bar. You're gonna, like I said, if you're doing a large job, you're gonna be glad you had this one. With any flooring, you gotta make sure you have, you space it off the walls. They're not supposed to touch the walls or you run the risk of it buckling. So make sure you got you some spacers. One thing that I like to do for my spacers, I take just some scrap pieces of flooring and I cut it down like you see here, and they seem to work real well for me. And like I said, that's typically my wall spacer. This right here is a scrap piece of trim. When you're laying your floor out and you're on the wall and you don't know if your gap's big enough, like I said, I'll just drop this bare piece of trim, and that way I know that my trim is gonna cover my gap. So keep your spare piece of trim. All right, speed square. Anytime you gotta make an extra cut, you know, speed square, just, you set it on it, make your mark. It works in both directions. It'll save the time. I like to keep a little tool pouch on me, and in my tool pouch, I'll keep my tape measure, a couple pencils, the utility blade, and what else I got in here? This one's stuck in here. And a little scraping blade. When I'm working on the floor, I come up on something that I didn't get with the floor scraper earlier, I just hit it with this little blade right here. All right, so next flooring tool that I highly recommend is a flooring cutter. This thing right here is a super, I can't remember how much I paid for it, but if you're doing any flooring, this saves so much time. Drop it in there, pull it down. Nice clean cut, it's quick. There's no dust flying up on you. Highly recommend. Now as far as, so I'm just a DIY guy. I don't do this for a living. But when I cut my door jambs, I'll just take my oscillating tool, lay me a piece of flooring down, and run it along the door jamb, and it works well. Now when you're running, so you're running through doors or just areas that aren't laid out straight, the jigsaw works great to cut those detailed pieces, so get you a jigsaw. Now when you're working your way through the room, you're gonna end up, having a piece. So my planks are about 9 inches wide, and you might have to cut it down to 4 inches wide. So make sure you have your table saw for your ribs. That way you can run long straight ribs, and it makes it easy. You can do it with a jigsaw, but it's gonna take much more time. One other tool, and this is part of the prep process, get you a floor scraper. Prior to doing anything, just make sure that you're putting some force into it, scrape that flooring. Make sure you got everything up, because you don't want to feel anything underneath your feet. You don't want to hear it. So make sure you do a good amount of prep work with it. So having said all that, one of the most important things to do, whatever flooring that you're using, make sure you look at your instruction manual and installation procedures, and it's going to tell you exactly what the requirements are for your vapor barriers, your staggering, your spacing, and let's say down the road you have an issue with your flooring. If you did not install your flooring according to the manufacturer's recommendations, you may have a hard time getting them to honor your warranty. So first and foremost, when you're doing it, make sure you read this and you're following along. Other than that, I would say always gotta listen to music, get you a good speaker, that way it seems to make working easier. That's all I got as far as tools go, and I'm gonna show y'all a couple rows of me laying the flooring down, and I hope it helps you. Thank you for watching. All right guys, so I'm gonna run a couple rows of flooring for you. So one thing to think about, or one thing to make sure that you do, anytime you're working with flooring, you're gonna have the different shades, different variations of each flooring in the box. So I like to work out of like 3, 4, maybe even 5 boxes at a time. So I'll open up, like I said, 3 to 5 boxes at a time. I like to separate my colors. That way, I know exactly what I'm grabbing. Because sometimes you get a box and that box will be heavy in one color. Say it's got eight pieces of flooring in it. It might have 4 to 5 of the same ones in there. So anyways, if I was to work off just one box, then I would be heavy in that one shade. So always work off multiple boxes. Like I said, that's the way I like to do it. I like to put them out so I can see them. That way I know what I'm grabbing, and it just makes it easy for me. So over here, you can see, so I started with this first piece, and there's my wedge. They keep it off the floor, I'm sorry, to keep it off of the wall, that way it's not touching. And so I don't have my planks laid out in the most efficient way right now. I mean, some of that's because of video, just being able to show you guys some stuff. But here, I'm gonna run a couple, you'll see the process. Alright, I don't know that it's necessary, but one thing that I do, I'll take a scrap piece of flooring, and where I just made that connection between the two pieces, I'll lock it together like that. I'll work down it, tapping it, make sure everything's good and locked in, and then I have me a small scrap piece that I use for a tap at the end, and like I said, I'll lock that in there. And then I like to take my tap block again. Come check that joint, it still needs a little more. All right, that's perfect. And like I told you, if I didn't have these D-pads, I'd probably be crying. But I gotta have them. I couldn't do it without them. 32 3/4. Take it over here to the thorn cutter. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna cut that one long, but it's good. Alright. So I put my joint on it, tap it, and this is where your pull bar comes in. I keep it on the row, and then whenever I get to the next one, I just slide it over. And that's it. I'll do one more row, show you how I just stagger it. So basically I'll get up, look at my shade variations, look at the rows before it, and then determine what my next piece or my next cut will be. So on that one, I'm gonna do a 20. And one thing when you're working with the floor set, you cut one for that. For anytime you cut a piece, you can always use it on the opposite side. So make sure you save your scrap pieces. That's good. All right, 47 1/4. All right, guys, so that's how I do it. Hope that helps you. Like I said, all flooring's a little different. They may have different installation procedures to follow, but that's the way I do it, and thank you for watching. All right, guys, so when you're flooring and you get to a doorway, you gotta be able to work underneath the door jamb. So there's a couple different ways that you can cut the door jamb, that way your flooring fits underneath it. If you're a professional, you're doing it every day, you're probably gonna have a true jam saw. That's gonna be the fastest, probably most efficient way to do it. So I'm just a DIY guy. I mean, I do this on the side a little bit, but the way I do it, I take my, just my oscillating tool, and I run a piece of just scrap flooring, run it up to the bottom of it, and I'll set my tool right on top of it and let it start cutting. If you didn't have a oscillating tool either, you could also get a little flush cut saw. Same process, put it down there, and just run that on it, and it works well too. But I'm gonna demonstrate me cutting one of these so you can see it. It's gonna take a little bit longer because my blade is about done, but it'll still get the job done, and you can see the process. So it might get a little loud, but here, this is how I do it. And then at the end, I like to slide my flooring underneath it. And you see how that's gonna work for your flooring. Nice clean look, but just to give it a little more space in between, I'll fit that piece underneath it, and then I'll run my saw again, just to make sure I got good space. And that's how I cut out my door jambs.